Hi guys, welcome to those. Oh, fuck off.
That's it. That's the intro.
Take two.
I'll leave that in at the start as well because I did it with cows. I did it with cows from last week. It was awful.
Did you actually?
Yeah,
Take two. You're on stage, bro.
that's what I mean.
This is your moment.
Go on,
This
Paige.
is your time.
You want me to do it?
Yeah.
I don't fuck up now. Don't fuck up now.
Balls.
McDonald's.
Right. Yeah. Hi guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. We are ThoseUnstableWeirdos. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. See you in the next one.
Done. All right, cool.
Sick. Well done, Paige.
Well, thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you.
That was a great podcast, huh?
Right, so this week's topic on
Right,
episode.
it's time to go for a shit.
Stop it.
Gone so badly already.
If you're gonna keep it interrupted, I'm gonna sit you outside.
All right, so,
Stop.
so this week's topic is episode 3 of the podcast, and we are discussing the Harry Potter universe. It was myself and Abby that did a lot of the research on this topic, so we're going to lead on it, and then everyone else will probably butt in and tell us we're wrong. Abby, do you want to go first?
Disclaimer: I look like shit and sound like shit, but no, not really.
You don't want to go first. All right.
But no, not really.
All right, first things first. Anyone have any not say objections? Does anyone like Harry Potter to start with?
Yes.
No.
I feel like John might be the one that says no here.
Anti Paige. That's not-
Frantically looking at all the books he's got on his shelf and DVD collection. No.
It's not on there.
Do you know what? I actually do like it.
So
I do. There's some inconsistencies, which you know, I mean, the first 3 films, the acting is absolutely shite. But to be expected from 10-year-olds. You know, but I think from the 4th film onwards, yeah, it's good shit.
So as
Fourth film and book is my favourite.
how many people have read the
But the
books?
third one is my favourite.
The third book.
Chamber of Secrets is the best, man.
I've
Is
not
it?
read all the books, which is probably not good for me. I've read up to. I haven't started the.
I
other-
love
haven't
it if
read
I can.
any of them.
In terms of the films, Prisoner of Azkaban is
Yes.
Brilliant.
the best one, followed by Chamber of Secrets.
No, hate it.
No, I don't.
I like Chamber of Secrets, man.
I don't know why I don't like it.
I disagree with that. For
Although,
me,
to be fair, Goblet of Fire.
Good baby.
I'd
see,
say
The only-
Prisoner
the
of
only one I've
Azkaban,
done-
and then Goblet of Fire, and then I'd say
The
Deathly
Sorcerer's
Hallows.
Stone.
Deathly Hallows is good.
Deathly Hallows.
Which one?
Well, one
Both.
book. Which film?
both.
Which one's everyone's favourite book?
Oh, book.
Philosopher's
Order of the
I
Phoenix.
just
Oh,
want
I
to
haven't
interject
read
very
them.
quickly. I look like someone who reads.
No.
What we do?
No,
So-
do I?
So, Abby, which one's your favourite book out of the ones you've read so far?
Philosopher's Stone.
Philosopher's Stone, the original
Just
one.
because it was the yeah. Just because it introduced me to it, and I can't not love it.
Fair enough. Luke.
I read it in like 2 weeks.
The Cursed Child. No. Order of the
don't even
Phoenix.
start me with the
Order of
Cursed Child.
Phoenix. Paige.
Order of the Phoenix. Absolute ace.
Paige hasn't read
I
the
haven't
books.
book.
I haven't.
Which one has the best blurb?
Which one looks the best on the cover?
Are we going for the original covers or the new shitty ones?
The originals, obviously.
One
Originals.
looks most inviting. Definitely not the Order of the Phoenix because it's like this big.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah.
Personally, my favourite book is The Prisoner of Azkaban. My favourite movie out of all of them is I have a soft spot for the Half-Blood Prince, but I feel like Deathly Hallows Part 2 is my favourite.
Half-Blood Prince is ace.
It's a really good movie. But the book is a lot better than the film, though, which is the issue with that. I think that the problem with the books is that because they were originally meant for kids, the first 3 books were written for children in the context. They don't use massive words. The writing's not great. Dana would agree with me, but she's not here.
It's quite Shakespearean in that
It's
sense.
not really. No, it's very basic. Like the
is very
lack of
basic.
terminology is really basic.
No, that's why I said Shakespearean,
Yeah.
because if you look at Shakespeare's work,
It just makes up words.
True.
he's got his own language in essence, because nothing makes sense.
That's a very good point.
You try and translate it. That's why I said, the original 3 books are very Shakespearean, for that matter.
But to be fair, as you go on, you kind of get used to the made-up words that J.K. Rowling's made, and it just becomes part of your vocabulary. But if you first time reading it, you're like, what the fuck is all of this?
From like the fourth one onwards, I reckon the writing style gets a lot better because it takes that darker twist with Cedric's death in the fourth one. That is the fourth one, yeah. With Cedric's death, it takes a darker twist, doesn't it? And I think the writing delves deeper into that sort of style.
Significant hold up in all of the Harry Potter series before you get to
Stop it.
Before we continue, has everyone done the test on Pottermore?
Yeah, what's everybody's houses?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Paige, have you done a test on Pottermore?
I think I was Gryffindor.
Sweet. Luke, you're a Hufflepuff, aren't you? I want to say Abby's a Ravenclaw, just based on... Are you a Hufflepuff as well? Okay. John, John, I'm assuming you probably haven't done the test on Pottermore.
No.
To what Hogwarts house you are. Mine was Gryffindor. I think Dana's was
Hufflepuff. How do we do that?
I will send a link.
Yeah, if Luke actually, you could do it now, really quick while we're chatting.
We can do the wand one as well. So, which wand do you have? Mine was a 9.5 inch.
It was.
I love the way that Abby laughs at that comment. Because that just goes to show that.
I'm laughing because it come out of nowhere from Matt.
No. It just goes to show that it's complete bullshit, isn't it?
Oh god, that's funny. So I'll go a little bit more into the books while Luke sends over that link to John. So obviously J.K. Rowling is the author of the books. Now, some interesting-ish facts about J.K. Rowling is that her middle initial actually isn't her initial. So her name is Joanne. Her name is Joanne Rowling. You're not far off. Her name is Joanne.
Just thought I'd put that out there.
Yeah. Her name's Joanne Rowling. She doesn't have a middle name. So J.K. Joanne. You
Rowling. Said John.
She doesn't have a middle name. So the K, the J.K. The K is for her grandmother. In honour of her grandmother Kathleen, which I thought was quite nice.
Sorry to interrupt. The link has been sent over.
Sweet. John can crack on.
I'm doing it now, mate. I'm doing it now.
Sweet.
It's quite sweet for a bitch.
Really is. So a little bit about J.K. Rowling's background. When she started writing the books, initially, she was a single mother, and she was on public assistance, or basically today's universal credit. She wasn't working. She'd gone through a lot of depression in her late 20s, and she struggled a lot. Her mum died when she was just 20 of multiple sclerosis, which actually sort of triggered her to go and write books and start the Harry Potter series. What else is there? When she released the first book, she was turned down by dozens of different publishers. Bloomsbury were the publisher that finally took it on and ran with it. But even then, it wasn't a secure gig. So she took it to Bloomsbury. They said, "Yeah, that's fine. We'll publish it." And the chairman of Bloomsbury at the time, whose name just escapes me because I couldn't find it, he gave the first chapter to his daughter Alice, who was about 8 at the time, and she read it, and then instantly demanded the rest of the book. So she wanted a copy of the rest of the book.
The rest of it.
Yeah, so she could read the rest of it and see how it turns out. So at that point, then Bloomsbury then agreed to publish it fully and print. I can't remember how many copies it was, but they printed a certain amount of copies, and obviously the rest is sort of history from there. They flew off the shelves at a pace that was alarming for a book, especially a kid's book at the time.
I think it's been about 28 years.
Yeah. I would say it was like 20. I think the original pressing was like 20,000 or something stupid.
No, what about since they've published it? Because I picked up the 25-year anniversary hardback of The Philosopher's Stone.
That came out 3 years ago.
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Just a quick point as well. Sorry to interrupt.
Right.
If you check the text channel, which is the general chit chat, I've sent over a screenshot of something which you might find interesting to share.
It makes me very sad.
Okay, let's pop this onto there.
As somebody who has read The Cursed Child, it makes me very sad.
Okay.
The story of the Cursed Child should be considered canon,
Fact.
though.
Basically, even though it's not part of the original 7, she wants everything that happened in it to be considered fact. And as somebody who has read it, that makes me very upset.
Why does that make you upset, though?
Why?
It's
What
crap.
happened?
I mean,
It is.
I think the
I
reason...
like it, but like, you know how
It's a screenplay.
not that. You know how in the 3rd film it
Yeah.
gets a bit confused. It's like Back to the Future where they keep going backwards and forwards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, with the what? Yeah.
The time turner.
With the time turner. She basically it starts from the 19 years later bit in the film and the books and whatever.
Yeah.
And they become friends with Amos Diggory, Cedric's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, he adopts a niece, or like their family adopts a girl that becomes their niece, and her name is Delphine. It turns out that she's the illegitimate daughter of Bellatrix and Voldemort, which is really strange. And basically, she gets hold of a time turner, and it makes her go all. No, her name is Delphi, and then she changed it to Delphine after she figures out that Voldemort is her dad.
That's mental. I didn't know that.
That's actually in my notes as well.
Oh, mad.
She had us sometime between. Bellatrix had us sometime between.
The first and second Wizarding Wars, I'm assuming.
It's just before she dies. Just before the.
So that's completely left
the
out
whole
of the
war.
entire Harry Potter series then. That's weird.
Yeah, because I did all my research on the 3 sisters,
Yeah.
and there's one you never hear of, who is the mum of Nymphadora Tonks, and she gets disowned, which is a bit strange.
That's
But
how
I don't find it.
that's how Tonks became part of the Order, because she hated the family that she came from. Oh, who's gone? Dana.
Dana.
And suddenly there were 5. Yeah, 5.
Yeah,
Right.
that's me because I can't hear through his.
That's fine.
headset.
No worries.
No, but yeah, like that. The whole way that it's written. Don't get me wrong. That when you first pick it up and you first start hearing about it, you're like, okay, it's quite interesting. Don't get me wrong. The way it's written's brilliant, but the thing that put me off was the fact it's a screenplay and not written like the traditional books.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that put me off was reading through it. You kind of like, well, why did I bother reading the rest of it?
That's kind of the reason I didn't pick it up and read it when it came out, and I still am yet to. So I've got a copy of it, I just haven't read it yet.
Well, they reckon they're doing a film of it.
Yeah, they're going to be at some point, hopefully. But apparently it's going to contain original cast members. So Daniel Radcliffe
I
will be
wouldn't
in
be
it.
surprised.
Michael Gambon, if he's still kicking about. Rupert
I mean,
Grint.
if I call Gambon ain't dying anytime soon.
It's going for years.
True. My guy's a king.
I mean, to be fair, the best guy that could play Dumbledore,
If Richard
if Michael Gambon isn't in it, best person, David Attenborough.
Oh God!
Give us a David Attenborough. I'd love it, but I don't think David Attenborough is much of an actor these days. Oh, we can't have a Snape because Alan Rickman's dead.
Oh, yes.
Narcissus Malfoy.
Yes.
Also...
God,
Yeah.
there's someone. Oh God, who would it be? It was the other guy that auditioned for him. Really well known. Can't think what his name is now.
Turn to page 694.
394. Call yourself a fan.
Oh, it is 300. Oh no! Expose myself on this.
No. I know who could play him. Completely off the cuff. Keanu Reeves.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
I kind of love it. I kind of love it.
Only if it's the Keanu Reeves that is John Wick when his dog's been killed. Only if it was that
them, but
Keanu Reeves.
It's great. He kills people with pencils and everything.
I'm aware.
I'll just go back to J.K. Rowling in a minute.
No, let's not. Let's go on a tangent.
No,
it's
stop
fine.
it.
So Barry Cunningham was J.K. Rowling's editor when. What was happening?
John paused on our screen. It was really, really weird.
He paused like this.
Can anyone guess what house I got?
Oh,
gonna
what'd
go
you get?
Slytherin.
I
Ravenclaw.
was going to go for Slytherin.
Ravenclaw.
Paige.
What did you get?
Paige, what you guess?
I think Ravenclaw.
Slytherin. Let's go. I mean,
You know what you need to do now, John? You need to, when you get into bed with your wife, you need to roll over, start spooning her and go, "Can I Slytherin?"
And then she'll turn around and punch you like I'm about to do.
Oh, God. Alright, yeah, so Barry Cunningham, J.K. Rowling's editor, told Rowling when she was writing the first book that she needed to get a day job as well, because she would never, ever, in a million years, make a living from selling kids' books. The irony of that now is
That's
immense.
insane.
But if you look back at it, when it was first released, no one knew who she was. She wasn't an established author. She wasn't anything. She
was
even
an author, but not for kids' books.
She wasn't even a bitch at that point. You know what I mean? Like
She wasn't.
Like this is so long ago that all these things hadn't happened, and I'd hate to even guess what her net worth is now. I wouldn't even want to know.
She wasn't an author. I got it wrong. She changed her name to try and write adult books.
Yeah,
not really sure. Not really sure in what
Oh.
adult books comes under. I'm not sure if it's what you'd imagine.
Like
or
50 Shades or
yeah,
soft
I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be that or whether it was supposed to be
books
just
for adults.
a bit more mature. But it didn't really.
Okay, so I actually heard that it was more about like more books along the lines of 50 Shades.
I heard adult books, and that was exactly what my head went to. I was a bit like,
yeah, no, I'm pretty sure from what I heard there was supposed to be books that were way older. So now what our generation will be reading.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if the Harry Potter like series had a bit of 50 Shades to it? Like,
it does if you go on Wattpad.
And Harry gently bends over
fixing
his Dragon Breath one.
Credit to Russell Howard on this one, but Muggle Juggle 4 Backdoor Dumbledore.
Dobby does Dallas.
Dobby does Dallas.
But Matt, to answer your question, mate, J.K. Rowling's net worth is $1 billion. US.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
$1 billion. To be fair, yeah, with the amount of books and the films and everything, it's crazy. And
You did it wrong, John. You did it wrong. $1 billion.
yeah.
But it's mad to think that she was on like basically
$1 billion.
It's crazy to think she was on benefits and then is now worth that
Insane,
much.
isn't it?
It's ridiculous.
So
you know when I said a little bit earlier on about her making up her middle initial, how she doesn't actually have a middle name. The reason that she did it was because the the chairman of Bloomsbury said to her that if you were to write a book and author it as Joanne Rowling, men or boys wouldn't read it because it was written by a woman. So
you know what? For the time, that actually doesn't really surprise me.
It was the whole J.R.R. Tolkien scenario. No, T.R.R. is it?
Yeah, T.R.R. isn't it? I think. But yeah, it's the same concept. So
J.R.R. Tolkien, yeah.
Yeah, so she added an initial to make it J.K. Rowling, so as no one knew her gender So when the books were released initially, it was who's this? It would just be like an unbiased opinion of who's buying and who's selling the books, which, to be fair, I think is obviously it's horrific that had to happen at that point, but on her part,
smart move,
very smart move.
But then it goes back on the old conspiracy theory of William Shakespeare not being one person, but rather being a collective of people that all published under one name.
I do like that conspiracy, but we can save that for the conspiracy theories podcast when we get it.
I won't go too much into it, but like it kind of stems from that. Mm-hmm. That's where it all originally comes from. I mean, believe it or not, Tolkien, you know, who wrote Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, you know, all of that series, he was a history teacher.
Yeah.
And he basically got all of his ideas. I mean, his first book actually was written whilst teaching history to uni students.
I quite like the I know this isn't Harry Potter related, but I like that Tolkien's map of is it? I can't remember what it's called. The place. I want to say Middle Earth. Mordor.
Middle Earth, yeah.
Is it Middle Earth?
Middle Earth, yeah.
Yeah, but so his map of Middle Earth is loosely based on the Black Country.
Yeah.
Which I think is brilliant.
That makes me quite happy.
Yeah, same. Makes me proud to be from where I'm from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, can we get me up to date?
So basically, we've gone on about how J.K. Rowling was a doll-dosser,
Okay.
And a single mother.
single mother with 3 kids. Her husband's dead. We didn't go that far. We were talking about J.R. Tolkien, to be fair, actually.
So I do have a question for J.K. Rowling at some point.
What's that?
Do you want to ask it now in case we've already answered it?
I was told she was cancelled for something she wrote in one of her books. Does anyone actually know what that was
Not
about?
in a book, it was a tweet.
She's cancelled because she's transphobic.
Yeah, she got cancelled.
I'm racist.
She's cancelled because she's a racist bitch as well.
She's racist as well, yeah. She's racist and transphobic. She tried to prove that she wasn't homophobic by making Dumbledore gay as canon.
And she called the most Chinese person in the show Cho Chang.
Yeah. And did you know that she changed Lavender Brown?
No.
Before Lavender Brown become the bitch,
Lavender.
she was actually an Asian girl that's in the background. It's been confirmed, and she changed her race when she come into the spotlight to go around.
Mad.
Can someone explain the transphobic part to me, please?
So basically,
Tweets
she was very anti-trans. Effectively, she was saying that no one in the Harry Potter universe could be trans. All that kind of shit, basically. To cut a long story short, and then what does she do? She turns around and then starts trying to defend her racism and goes, "Well, I never said Hermione was white. Hermione's pale white ghost-like skin."
Oh, have you seen all the fan art of her being half cast with
It's
really
my
hair?
opinion.
I really
It's not
love
really
it.
agree with, but just because you made something and said that you don't believe anyone in that series should be something like trans, I don't say that's transphobic. That's just you keeping to your vision that you're made.
No, she has made other comments as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but no, that was just
It's not just that one.
That comment by itself, I could deal with, but I feel that
I mean, if you take an apology motion, I'm sure you'll become trans eventually.
If you transfigure out properly, you never know.
If it was just
actually, she's not transphobic because McGonagall's half a cat.
Wow.
She was foreseeing the future, in fairness.
Technically, she's an animagus.
But,
she isn't.
If it was just the saying that no one in a book could ever be trans, then I could, understand that. And
But no, she has made other comments as well.
If it's other things as well, then fair enough.
Holly changed her hair 3 times in this podcast.
She's an avid Christian, so she's pretty much everything bound to God. She won't admit it openly, but she has, on numerous occasions, delved into her beliefs on religion and how she's Christian.
Fair enough.
The best Christian, though, is Christian Bale. Prove me wrong.
I just wanted to know about that, to be fair, because I couldn't be asked to look into myself, but I know you guys know about it.
There's going to be a cut where I've got my hair down and then cut to the next one. My hair's completely different. I'm going to change it every time. I'm going to change it every time. That's like, I'll edit that bit out. I have notes on all 3 of the Black sisters. To be fair, you'll probably know a lot about
get cancelled!
I was about to say with that.
To be fair, you'll probably know a lot about Bellatrix and Narcissa, but not that much about the 3rd one. So we'll go into that in a minute. Born in 1951.
Jeffrey!
I forget. I forget every time.
Every time, fucking Jeff Bezos. Sorry, carry on.
1954, but yeah.
Well,
I had the opportunity, shut up.
Don't need that many guesses to wonder what house she was sorted into.
Yeah.
Slytherin.
She'll join John.
I thought it was Ravenclaw.
Immediately after graduating, she became a Death Eater.
Love that commitment to the cause.
Basically, she fell in love with Tom Riddle at school and then was like, I will follow you anywhere.
Is a Death Eater just someone that eats out dead people?
Can't see that. Can you put a line
in the space of 1 minute, we had a racist joke and domestic abuse. Yay!
This
and
is
a
a new
necrophilia
record
joke.
for us.
Yeah, it's not racism. It's actually their names.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
They were
Is that a
born.
racist joke?
Yeah.
Go on, Abby.
She was born to. I want to say. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think his name is Cygnus.
Yeah.
And Druella, who
Yeah.
were forced into a marriage because, the 1920s.
Love
And
that.
they were all purebloods and followed the normal. Well, I say the normal, but obviously, if you're here, you know that most Lutherans are pureblood supremacists.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
They are
it's
the-
kind of. Go on, Luke,
Go-
sorry.
No, you carry on.
I was gonna say they're kind of a product of their time, in terms of like, if you look at it in terms of real world stuff that was happening at that time, it's very similar. There was a lot of marriages.
You stick to your own kind.
Yeah, there was a lot of marriages between like close
Especially-
families and stuff. A lot in the UK. I don't know. I'm assuming the rest of the world too, but it was very common.
You've got to look at the time that she was born as well, like J.K. Rowling, the time she grew up. I mean, she was born, what?
I want to say 60s.
65, I want to say. Let me just fact check that.
That is why her views are different to most people that are trying to cancel her. Just pointing that out to anyone that watches that.
Might be 70s.
But also,
No,
people like
65 she was born.
you can see in one of the films, I can't remember which one, where Draco Malfoy actually calls Hermione a filthy mudblood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hang
So,
on. That's
Nobody
a lot
knows
of-
what it is, and Hagrid goes, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah, but like
That's in
it
almost
was-
every scene that's given, to be fair.
I mean, it's not. There was like
It's
there
a
was
slur in
it was
there,
in
well.
one of the first one,
It's the second
but
film.
that's like
It's
There
like
was a second one.
So that's when you go eat slugs, and then
Yeah, Draco
Ron
just gets
tries
pissed
to
off with,
vomit
like,
slugs.
with everyone and everything.
Yeah.
And, like,
I think
Hermione
that's-
just steps
that's the
forward
best
and just like, piss off, you
Eat
filthy.
slugs.
That's kind of, if you look at it in a
It's a slur in their world.
if you look at it
Yeah.
in a topical way, it's kind of like wizard racism.
yeah.
in a
But
sense.
just talking about wizard racism, sorry to interrupt you, Abby. I know you're on about the Black Sisters. But, I can't think of the guy's name. Do you remember in the class Order of the Phoenix? There's the black kid. I can't think of his name.
Dean Thomas.
Dean Thomas. Yeah.
Dean, yeah.
Well, something Abby told me earlier actually. So I'm going to give the credit where credit's due. His dad went out for something.
I'll get small for a second.
I know this seems very stereotypical, but they thought his dad went to the shops, for lack of a better term, and
It turns
ran
out.
off.
It
But
turns out that he was killed because he refused to join the Dark Lord, and
Wow.
they just never knew until Dean got a Hogwarts letter at the age of 11, which I find really sad.
because Dean's mother was a
Your
muggle.
dad didn't love you, but instead he just got fucking murdered for banter.
But no, back onto the point of like the whole, mudblood scenario and whatnot.
Okay,
Going back to the time of when J.K. Rowling was born, being 31st July 1965,
Shares a birthday with Harry Potter, weirdly.
because I've got the
And Neville. Well,
Being
not
there.
Neville, but it's like 2
yeah.
days before.
But
Well, he's also
But yeah, so looking back at the time, there was a lot of there wasn't a lot of diversity.
Mm-hmm.
It was very segregated. So obviously that's what she recalls, and with everything changing, well, especially at the time when she was writing due to the apartheid and whatnot, which is a very important historical lesson. But it was something that she wasn't too open to at the time.
Mm.
Obviously, in today's day and age, we've all come to accept it because it's what we're all used to.
And it's what we all want as well. You know what I mean? It's not we don't want to be separated, but yeah,
No, exactly.
I get where you're coming from. Though it's like I said, product of the time, innit? And
Yes, over the last, in her lifetime, it's gone from you sit over there to come over home, pal. Look, come on, have a cup of tea. Times have changed dramatically.
they're
So-
kind of
Oh,
both of them.
Sounds like something just like
Break my legs. And John broke his fucking
Fucking-
him.
the fucking UFOs are coming through the window, guys. Help.
John's being taken.
Hide behind Dumbo, they might not take me.
Get yourself out an elephant head, and they'll never know it's you.
John, I just think you're an alien in your own fucking house.
Literally. They'll be like,
Sorry, this house has already been raided. No need to do this one.
yeah.
No one's already here.
Hi,
But
Rupert
if anyone
Grint.
gets up in there, I'm gonna have a vibe.
That's fine. Go on, Abby.
As many people know, she was known as one of the most sadistic of all of the followers.
Yep.
And most well known for being part of the torture of Neville's parents, Alice and Frank Longbottom. But what I didn't realise until I researched this, it was also her husband, Rodolphus Lestrange, and Barty Crouch Jr., which I wasn't aware of. I thought it was just her, but like I was reading it and I was like, right, okay. You don't hear of Rodolphus Lestrange, and it was an arranged marriage anyway, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Because pure blood families.
Yeah.
But I wasn't aware that Barty Crouch Jr. was involved in it, which really caught me by surprise.
Yeah. I every time I hear his name, I hear Karkaroff saying it. Barty Crouch Jr.
I love it.
Oh, the way he was Scottish.
Couldn't find when she was sent to Azkaban, but I found out she was broken out in the films where the Dark Mark.
That was at the Half-Blood Prince, right? Start of the
1995.
That is one tattoo I really would like to get, the Dark Mark.
I wouldn't mind that, actually.
Pretty cool.
She was in both the Wizarding Wars, caused her to go to Azkaban.
Yep. End up dying.
And she, with her views, like her parents of purebloods and like blood traitors and whatever, there was a reason she killed Sirius Black.
Yeah.
Other than, he was in the Order. Because she's a Lestrange, I forget every time she was part of the Black family.
Yeah.
And he was the only person in the entirety of the Black family that was sorted into Gryffindor.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw that as traitorous as well. But hanging around with, well, a werewolf for a start.
Yeah.
James. Remus Lupin that has lycanthropy. I think is how
I had that written on my notes.
James.
Yeah.
And Peter hurts me to say his name.
I can't stand him.
I can't stand the actor now, and this is a problem.
What, Peter Pettigrew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timothy Paul. I can't.
I don't like him. Eddie Roy
No, I
plays him.
don't.
You're right. He was actually in the 44-day manager or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. I've seen him in loads of stuff. He's always in loads of like BBC dramas and stuff because of how much of a he is a good actor, and that's why we hate him. But
yeah. But he's one character that we are supposed to really hate.
Yeah.
Like Dolores.
Yeah.
Can I just make a point? Bellatrix's death is possibly the most iconic scene from that movie.
Not my daughter, you bitch!
That one. Molly Weasley going absolutely ham.
Yeah.
The only good wizard slash witch to use Avada Kedavra.
Yeah.
And that shows how powerful she is as well, because she doesn't do it verbally.
Harry, as well, is the only other wizard to have done it knowingly.
Harry didn't.
Within his battle with Voldemort, he did because he repelled it. He repelled it, and then he ended up using it himself. First, he was only using Sectum Sempra.
No, he wasn't.
Expelliarmus,
it's the only spell that he knows.
It's the only spell he knows.
Expelliarmus, which is why it was red, and it's come out. And then, but the reason it killed him was because obviously the energy's gone through the Elder Wand.
No, it was Draco's.
It wasn't. It was Harry's.
No, it was Draco's because Draco disarmed Dumbledore.
At that point,
Harry disarmed Draco, therefore it was Harry's.
Yeah. At that point, it was already Harry's when he was battling Voldemort because he'd already.
Just very quick. Just very quick. That spell you're on about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try and say it.
Avada Kedavra.
Every time I try and say it, it sounds like avakebab.
Yeah.
That's your brain turning into something, John.
Yeah, I know. But when you say that she used it without saying it,
yeah.
So then, why did it have a different effect on
On Bellatrix.
on Lestrange than it did on Harry and everyone else it's been used on.
The reason for it is because because it's obviously it's a sin basically to
The killing curse.
The killing curse.
Yeah,
It's a sin.
The forbidden curses.
But the reason it killed her in that way was because she stunned her as well.
Yeah.
She stunned
her first, and then.
But it was that quick. So in the I'm pretty sure in the book it states that she stuns her and then she kills her.
But she does, because she goes like that, and you see it in the film where she just kind of condenses a little bit, and then she just explodes.
Yeah,
it's because it was a concoction of two spells. It's like, for example, if you were to try and mix two chemicals together, two harmless chemicals, but you put them together, and there's a massive reaction that could kill you.
What about Voldemort then?
Because of all of his Horcruxes being broken, Harry being the last one, he was too weak, and he was legally dead at that point anyway.
Yeah.
So when it hit him, he turned into paper mache, for lack of a better term.
But technically wasn't. But technically wasn't the snake the last one.
No,
Harry was
the snake. Technically, the snake was the last.
The snake was the last one.
Yeah,
Harry had already died.
But Harry was the one that no one.
And then he came back.
He was the biggest Horcrux of them all.
Harry was the biggest one. Snake was
because when Harry grew, the Horcrux grew.
Harry wasn't the first one. Harry was the last one he created.
Yeah, but
that's why we call it the last one.
But when Harry grew, the Horcrux grew with him, which made him more powerful. So when Harry died holding the Resurrection Stone, Harry could have realistically brought back his dad, his mom. He could have brought back Lupin, anyone. Could have brought anyone back. Who does he bring back? Himself.
But you know what? Yeah, but you know what I don't understand about that though? You say he died holding it, right?
Yep.
He dropped it.
Well, he wasn't
Doesn't
holding
he drop it?
He was
drop
in
it?
He was in the radius of it.
No.
What it is, he was the master of it.
How it is with Abby, you're probably going to say the same thing. With the Resurrection Stone, you can either use it to bring someone else back when you're alive by turning it 3 times in your hand. But if you're in possession of it when you die, you can be brought back to life. Regardless of
you are brought back.
It's one of the Deathly Hallows. Reading when Hermione reads it, or when I've read it a couple of times, because I've got the Tales of Being a Bard.
Yep.
I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but the Deathly Hallows is a really good part of this storyline.
It really is.
See, with the 3 things that Death gives the brothers, being at the end, the Peveril brothers.
That's it.
Being the master of all 3 of them makes one the master of death. Well, the cloak was his anyway. Unbeknowing, the wand was his.
And the Resurrection Stone.
Because he disarmed
Draco.
And when he didn't know until later on, but when Dumbledore gives him the first snitch, he's given him the Resurrection Stone in it. So he was the master of all of the Deathly Hallows, which is why he didn't kill him. It just killed the Horcrux inside him.
Which is what the bit is under this.
Man.
When they're in Euston Station.
Oh, that fucking Dumbledore. I tell you what, that fucking Dumbledore is a clever fucker, isn't he? Huh?
Oh yeah.
He knew he was going to
He was two-faced to everyone. I loved him.
I like. Obviously, the films, the actors change, but like, I love his character progression, because at the start he's like big, long robes, not pointy hat, but like, you know, like the sleeping cat.
Stereotypical wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a stereotypical wizard, and then as he went on, it was like, oh, there's a bit more to this guy.
Yeah.
And then after
to me,
spoiler alert, Dumbledore dies.
To me, it's just like he just like reminds me of Gandalf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
especially in his bluish grey robes that he wears after Richard Harris.
Yeah, they could pass for brothers. You know what I mean? Just in different universes.
What if it's the same person? Oh my god, conspiracy.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine that? Mind blown. But could you imagine that?
Speaking of brothers, Aberforth.
Oh, I have that story of why they don't speak anymore, and it makes me really sad.
Okay. Right, you want to carry on with the Bellatrix thing?
Yeah.
Hang on, very quickly. This is who Dumbledore reminds me of. If you've ever seen Sword in the Stone, Merlin.
Oh my god!
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, mad.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Best character in that
I do love him.
My issue is-
Shadow of a-
Absolutely.
When you tell me the name Merlin, I think of the
The TV
British.
show.
Yeah,
What a show that was.
that is a great show.
Getting back on track.
BBC.
Go on, Abby.
It's
Yeah,
still
mate.
magical
Abby.
people.
What, Merlin?
Getting back on
Yeah.
track. It is a brilliant TV show. But after, as I said, I found out earlier. The third sister, you'll find out in a bit, was disowned by the family
Mhm.
There's always one.
because
Did
she
start on it?
married she married a Muggleborn, and with their family being purebloods, it was completely against them, and she was disowned. This Muggleborn was Ted Tonks, and they had a child called Nymphadora, which is why she ends up dying in the Wizarding War, because Bellatrix kills her because she's a family traitor.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was quite
That
cool.
makes sense.
Also, more spoiler alert,
Yeah.
she kills Dobby.
Oh,
Yeah.
It makes me so sad every time.
oh God.
Then?
The death of
peace,
Dobby.
Dobby. Rest in
Oh.
peace, Dobby.
She forced. I forget every time that she forces Narcissa and Snape to make the unbreakable vow.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Dobby.
She kills Dobby.
Master,
Oh, no.
give Dobby a Glock. Dobby's a 3G. I was doing that so much to John yesterday.
And like I said
Give Dobby a
earlier,
smock. Dobby's
about,
he can't.
like I said earlier about the cursed child,
Mhm.
we find out she has an illegitimate daughter
Yeah.
who, now that we're going off his canon, is unable to love because she was conceived under a love potion. She was conceived under Amortentia, which is also why Voldemort apparently isn't able to properly love because his parents were put under the same thing. Thank you.
Isn't a love potion basically the wizard version of Viagra?
No.
Essentially.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I'd say
Basically,
Hang on, Abby. You went essentially to it's
Essentially.
not. Make your mind up.
I'd say
no,
it's.
no, no.
I'd say
It
it's.
It's a mixture of a lot of things. Basically, like what it does is it makes you smell. Believe in soulmates and shit. It makes you smell who you're in love with at the time.
I would argue that it's possibly more closely related to alcohol and one night stands
Yes.
because it only lasts for a certain amount of time.
I was going to
You know
go.
what? No, I'm going to stop you there a sec. It's more like roofies.
Yeah, Rehypnol. I was about to say that. Yeah, more like Rehypnol.
More like
Yeah.
Rehypnol.
Oh, this gets better and better.
Alright,
Like Rehypnol.
Abby, carry on before we go
It
very dark.
effectively date rape drug.
Stop. And all that is leading up to the fantastic death at the hands of Molly Weasley.
So that's Bellatrix in a nutshell, isn't it?
That's Bellatrix. Essentially, I could have found so much more, but like my hand was hurting at this point
Yeah, no, I'm.
because I was a dickhead and didn't type all of my notes and wrote them all manually.
Fuck that. I'm gonna go on to Dobby, since he's always one of the last people we mentioned. So Dobby, as we
And Bellatrix. Brilliant transition.
well, no, because she murdered Dobby.
No, that's what I'm saying. Brilliant transition.
Thanks, mate.
Nice. I'm going to throw it to you.
Nice.
Too
So
soon.
Dobby served.
You're going to catch the golden snitch.
No, he's gonna throw the knife that's gonna go
Oh,
straight.
no,
to
It was a shard at Grantland. The way notes and all,
the
yeah.
dagger.
Page. So obviously Dobby in the books and in the movies served the Malfoy family. He was freed by Harry.
Stick it in a sock.
Yeah, but well, no. So it's not.
Okay, I have to make this joke. Was it a magic sock?
He was not a magic sock. So essentially, what happened for those people that haven't watched Harry Potter that might actually end up watching this, the Tom Riddle's diary, which was a Horcrux, got presented to Dumbledore, and then Harry borrowed it, put his sock in the diary, and gave it to Lucius Malfoy, because Lucius, at the start of the second movie, The Chamber of Secrets,
That's tremendous
has tremendous hair, and he also dropped the diary into Ginny Weasley's cauldron,
Which I didn't realise until I watched the whole thing again.
Yeah.
I think I noticed when watching it for the first time.
I'm stupid.
So he dropped it into a cauldron, which means obviously she would have possession of it and then be forced to do horrible things because Horcruxes speak to people. That's how they work.
Yes.
Like the
reason, Harry, but yeah. So the reason Harry can hear it is because he can speak Parseltongue. Yeah.
That was my point.
The first Horcrux that tried to destroy in the film, it spoke to Ron to bring him back, didn't it? Really, from where he ran off to.
The first Horcrux is the one they tried to destroy in the Deathly Hallows.
Kind of like spoke to Ron or something to bring it back to how Harry or some shit, didn't it?
Yeah. So basically, because Harry can speak Parseltongue, he hears what it's actually saying. Whereas the people that are around Horcruxes that can't speak Parseltongue, they just get really agitated and angry because it's a part of an angry soul.
Like Ron basically did
with the locket.
With the locket.
Exactly. So
because he saw Harry and Hermione, who everyone thought was going to get together from the first few films, and then he ends up shagging a ginger.
That was heartbreak for me.
Look, I'm just talking about the part when Ron walks off in anger because obviously what the Horcrux did to his head, and then as Harry's having issues, finding his hole that he went into it in water. Ron just appeared like, "Hey, yo, what you say?"
Hey, what's up?
The one thing I will say though, Horcruxes, like that whole scenario of what happens, it's a very good metaphor for bipolar disorder.
Yeah, actually thinking about it, you're right. Yeah.
1 second you're happy, 1 second you're pissed off trying to kill someone, and you walk off. Then you come back trying to love them.
Yeah.
You're back and you're like, "Hey, what's up? I'm back."
Because think of it as a very short-term thing. It's 1 second you hate everyone. Next second, you've got so much relief. Second after, you want to break something. In this case, the Horcrux. You break the Horcrux. And you're happy.
Yeah, no. So it's all got basically with to go back to your point, Carl. With I can't believe you said that.
He said it's like a
with the Horcrux that Ron had. Because he actually didn't take the Horcrux with him. It was the Deluminator. Yeah, it was the Deluminator that caused Ron to go back. So when he clicked it, there was a ball of light, and it was in the shape of a stag, and he thought it was.
I really want one.
He thought it was Harry's Patronus, so he followed it, and it led him all the way back.
What the fuck? That's lagging. You're meant to have the best computer in that here.
I'm not lagging.
No, that's me. No one can contest me with my computer. Bitch.
Stop being bad. Carry on, Matt.
Stop showing off with your pretty colours.
I've got another one downstairs.
Cal,
Running Jules Eon's server.
I can break your face. I'm going to come to Carl's house.
I mean, you can try.
Shut up.
Yeah, so the Deluminator led basically Ron to, I forget the word, disapparate back into the forest where Harry was trying to obviously get the sword from under the ice, like a knobhead, because it's never a good idea.
Don't go into freezing cold water. You're going to die, mate.
Hypothermia.
He's a magician, and didn't just think, let's just warm this area up just a little bit so the ice fucks up for like 5 minutes.
Couldn't, because the sword's enchanted by goblins, so normal wizard magic doesn't work on it. So even if you tried to drag it towards him or warm anything up around it or anything,
when you go,
you say normal wizard magic. Why couldn't you just use a lighter? It's not magic. It's human.
Because it's protected by goblin spells.
That every time
you are
in your spot, you're always forgetting your lighter. So you have to walk back.
Accio Zippo!
What it is the goblin magic stops anything on it. So, it appears to the true Gryffindor, which is why it appears to Neville in the end.
Yep.
Which fills me with loads of confidence, and that makes me happy because I love Neville.
I do love Neville. Also.
Another point, though, if we're going back onto the whole traditional wizard thing with Dumbledore, with the way he was presented in the books and in the first film. When you think of old wizards, you tend to think of someone smoking a pipe as well.
He had a bubble pipe. It was amazing.
Yeah,
didn't have a pipe.
Where was it in the films?
It wasn't it wasn't in the films because technically the films were also made for kids because the books were made for kids.
It's where there's no
which is why there's
alcohol.
no smoking. But there is alcohol. There's butterbeer, isn't there? But
There is, but like it's never specifically out there to be
if you've
alcoholic.
ever had butterbeer, it's basically cream soda with foam on top.
It's very nice.
It is
I've had butterbeer ice cream. That's also very nice.
But
Here's a
look,
thought, though.
think of
We should
that
look
big
at
show
Luke,
we used to watch.
Go on, Cal.
We should all go to Harry Potter World just so we can get butterbeer.
Bin.
I've found
Got it.
Tastes nice.
Yeah, but I haven't, so
Paige, you alright?
Taste nice.
Huh?
Doesn't taste nice.
You don't like
I
cream
like
soda?
it. I like sweet stuff, so
Yeah,
No,
same.
the butterbeer, it doesn't taste sweet for me.
Is it not?
No.
Mad. Go on, Luke.
Just
What
a
are you
quick
saying?
thought. Like you're saying about it was made for kids and whatnot, so there was no smoking or anything. I can think of like a few kid shows, like especially cartoons, where there was worse things than smoking.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I
Johnny
completely agree with that.
Bravo.
This is Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is
Opposed
very
to
strict
all
on
that.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, whereas
Disney-
Oh,
That's the reason.
Looney
But
Tunes.
it's not Disney, though, is it?
Looney
It's
Tunes,
not.
yeah.
It's Warner Brothers.
Warner
But
Brothers.
Disney
Yeah, I was-
constantly had a heroin addict on screen in front of kids.
Yeah, they did.
what an actor he was.
Disney had Nazis on screen live in front of kids.
It's true, but this is what I'm saying. This is why Warner Brothers was so careful.
Yeah.
With everything they did, because of what Disney did and what Disney still do to an extent. They
Not even.
Don't get
that's
me
why Warner Brothers were always so careful when they first started out with Harry Potter and all the big things
like,
they've released,
with-
because there was so much target for scrutiny.
With
One
the
of the
idea
worst
of
ones.
It's only blowing bubbles.
Yeah, but
We've all done it.
Luke, thing with the strictness thing is like drinking. Obviously, it's a lot harder to get to than smoking half the time, especially in a fucking household. But in the actual terms of what it does to you, drinking isn't as bad as smoking, and it's less addictive. So drinking isn't as bad to have on a camera than smoking, because if you start smoking at a young age and it turns out really bad, we all know that.
Yeah, we've all smoked.
Drinking though, Christ, I've been drinking since 14. I'm fine.
But the thing I was gonna say is because the
It's just-
PG, which is parental guidance.
PG-13.
Yeah, they're all
So-
PG-13s or 12 rated, the Harry Potter movies.
12A.
But even
But
so,
even then, you should still be allowed to show it because there's other films out there. Jaws, for example, which is now a 12.
yeah, it wasn't when it came out though.
No, it was a 15.
But this is what
Well,
I'm
no,
saying.
it was an 18.
But
came out.
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's about when they were released and the stuff that you could and couldn't
Can we
do at
get
the
back to
time.
Dobby, please?
Yeah. Sorry, John. Do you have something to say before we do?
Master Harry.
Yes, you, John.
Yeah, John. I
You
felt
want
like
John?
you were going to say something. But,
Oh no, it's okay. I was just gonna go back to the point Carl made about smoking, but don't worry about it. It's not relevant.
okay, cool. Yeah. So back onto Dobby. In the movies, you get about 1% of the coverage of Dobby in the books, which is really frustrating because he's an awesome character. So what you don't know is after he got freed, after he got released by Lucius, he went to work in the kitchens at Hogwarts, so he could be closer to Harry, Ron, and Hermione because they all chipped in to save him. I mean, not gonna lie, Hogwarts were slave drivers.
And Winky.
Yeah, so
The name of one of the house elves.
yeah, so Winky doesn't actually come into it until the 4th movie, which was at the Wizard World Cup. What?
I was the tournament.
No.
Do you know what really,
Oh, of course,
what
yeah.
really cracks me up though,
Go on.
from what I struggle to understand about the Harry Potter films, is, and I said this earlier. I said this earlier in the group chat. Yeah. For me, Dobby, should be, if you go off everything else that we know from films, books, games, whatever, about anything magical.
Yeah.
Dobby should be one of, if not the most powerful fucking wizards,
So
whatever,
the reason
in the whole
So
fucking
he's a very
universe.
powerful elf.
Because he's a fucking elf.
there's a reason.
He's an elf.
There's a reason
Right,
for
and
it
that's-
in the movies
Right.
and the books.
So when
Think
it comes
of it. He's an elf, though, right? Owls are meant to be the most magical beings there.
yeah,
there are.
No, I agree.
And
Yeah.
it's,
Magical law, and elves tend to be some of the most powerful magical beings about.
yeah, exactly. So for me, that's the fact that there isn't
I see where
more to him.
Yeah,
The fact that there isn't more to him for me is I think he should have been integrated into the main bit. I think they should have gave him a much bigger part, especially like
That's what
in
I'm
the
waiting
later
for.
part, in the later books.
yeah. I feel like
But
I feel like we should let Luke speak before he fucking explodes.
Thank you.
Matthew, what I'm waiting for is this, where you have to put it.
Honestly, I was about to, but no. The point I was going to make whilst John was talking about Dobby being so powerful, there is a theory where Dobby is the real Dark Lord, and it is quite interesting
That makes me really sad.
when you actually read up on it.
I don't even want to
A
know.
lot of it
Already-
makes more sense than you think it does just from hearing it
Alre-
like that.
already
I
the
can
line
imagine
of Dobby is the Dark Lord makes me really
Literally,
sad.
that is really funny. The potentially the most powerful being in the entire story of Harry Potter, house slave.
Yeah, but
yeah, but that's the thing, mate. That's the thing.
So,
They are. Man, that's in every book, film, TV series, game, anything you ever play, or anything that involves magical lore, elves are the most
They're so
powerful magical creatures
Like
Yeah.
The Witcher, for example.
no,
in
yeah,
that universe.
and that's what I mean. So from this is the perspective that Harry Potter takes on elves is that because of standard lore of magic and mythical creatures and that sort of stuff.
Before you say, can I guess it? So is it the take of because elves are the most powerful beings, they're trying to keep them at a lower class, just so okay.
No.
So I
So-
thought have a guess.
No, so it's kind of like it's based elves being very low powered is kind of a symbolism of oppression. So
Especially with them being house elves.
yeah, exactly. So because they serve a master and they have to, it's their intensive purpose. When they're free, elves are more powerful than most wizards. They can use magic non-verbally. They can apparate and disapparate. They can.
This
They
is
can-
this is
they-
why
And this is why Dobby's so powerful in it come to the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
it's like when everybody's kept in. Why there's a dungeon under Malfoy Manor, I'll never know.
I can't remember what it's
But
called, but it's
Sex Richard.
that's why Dobby can take Luna and Mr. Ollivander
yeah.
and come back in seconds.
Yeah, whereas a normal wizard wouldn't be able to apparate and disapparate that quickly.
So,
No, they can't. They can't get out of that.
Yeah.
They can't. You know how if you lock someone, you go Alohomora and the lock opens because
Yeah,
it's done by witches and wizards. They're not able to open the lock, but because Dobby is all powerful elf.
What would be interesting for me is to find out if there's any lore behind that. So how did it get to a point where they're actually house slaves?
okay.
I'm not
so,
sure.
I mean, because
can I just ask a question that
it must have happened.
comparison? Has anyone watched The Witcher or played The Witcher?
No.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love
Okay.
it.
So
Absolutely love
Luke, you know about the whole elf shit in this, don't you? Can you help me get an idea? So Luke, do you know in The Witcher how the elves became so powerful with magic they did the cleansing, as they called it, something on the lines of that?
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
effectively a Holocaust.
so? Is it not? I know. I want to say it like that, but not say that. But is it on a similar level to the point where they was oppressed because parody? Would you say?
It's
probably argue
more
that, yeah.
so that they're oppressed. Also, elves were used for slaves, basically. It's
Because-
the way it was because how powerful they were. So at the time, a bunch of witches and wizards just kidnapped them effectively.
It's similar with The
Promised
Witcher.
them a good life and was like, come live with me. And they turned them into the servants.
So it's similar with The
Basically.
Witcher where they saw they're fuck powerful and then did something to try and avoid them being stronger.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like I said, basically oppressing them. But
Okay,
so
that helps me understand.
yeah, so obviously Hogwarts had elf slaves as well.
Yeah.
They
They
were
were
paid,
treated quite well.
compared to other house elves. They were paid 1 galleon a week, which if you look at Harry's bank account is nothing. And they would get 1 day off per month. 1 day a month. That'd be all they get. But this is why. This is why it ties into the thing that again this pisses me off. That it's not mentioned in the movies, but Hermione's petition to
Oh,
basically.
that's you.
Yeah, spew. Basically for rights for house elves.
Yeah.
To basically be free and earn more and have more time off, which I think is it's again basically going against the oppression, and I think that's another standpoint that J.K. Rowling was trying to make with that, which was probably one of the nicest things that she did, because as it turns out she is a knobhead. But yeah, so Abby was completely right. He was accompanied by Winky to Hogwarts.
She's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I love her.
Winky's an alcoholic house elf. She was dismissed by her master at the Quidditch World Cup, and when it all kicked off there, they got out of there and ended up at Hogwarts. Obviously, you know that Dobby helped free everyone from Malfoy Manor, as Abby's just stated. But another thing that he does as well, him and Creature work very well together.
I love Creature.
I hate Creature's character. I hate him, but I love him at the same time.
Yeah,
something that makes me very angry is because he was brought up, influenced by the Malfoys and the Black family.
Mm-hmm.
He also sees Sirius as a blood traitor.
Yep.
Which is why he doesn't help him when he lives in Grimmauld Place.
Yeah, that's the one. But this is the other thing that they do as well.
Because he belongs to Regulus, I think. But, you know, Master Regulus.
Yeah.
Regulus is dead.
So
technically he belongs to Sirius, and he doesn't obey Sirius because Sirius is blood traitor.
And he doesn't believe Regulus is dead?
Not true.
Yeah.
Shall we... Go on.
I was going to finish this bit on Dobby, and I was going to say we'll do a round of questions.
Questions?
So yeah, him and Creature again displays the power of them. In the Deathly Hallows Part 1, the house Grimmauld Place was raided, and a locket was stolen. The locket that turned out to be a Horcrux, it was stolen by Mundungus Fletcher. Now, Mundungus Fletcher is what...
I missed that.
Mundungus Fletcher is basically the common thief, and he just go out and sell what he found to try and make a bit of cash. To probably feed a wizard drug addiction.
I know, but like that.
Yeah, I mean, we all do. But yeah, so Dobby and Creature found him in what was basically a day, and everyone else had been looking for him for months. The Ministry had been looking for him. He'd been on the Ministry's list for years, and they couldn't find him. Dobby and Creature found him in a day, and that again points to the power of elves when they are freed and they are allowed to use their powers.
That makes me angry because he's just known as the common thief. I don't think he was very high on the priority list for the Ministry.
I think you're right.
But what makes me even more angry is that because I feel like they should have, if they were going to go all in with this, the Dark Lord isn't back. No, he's not coming back. If they're all in that, why wouldn't they try and clean up? I was going to say the streets
effectively.
Yeah, no, and they didn't. You're completely right.
The Ministry pisses me off so much.
Yeah.
Especially when Umbridge...
Cornelius Fudge makes me want to punch somebody.
You know what? I like Cornelius.
I like the first two movies that he's in.
He's just portrayed as the dumb, thick guy that's in charge.
He is the Boris Johnson of the Wizarding World, isn't
he? Yeah, which is why
that woman does my fucking head in.
Dolores.
We can go on to
Does anyone else here just feel that
act of hate
she just needed a big hard cock up her ass?
Who's this?
Essentially,
thing is
she got chased by a fiery dragon because of Fred and George.
Favourite part. I love it.
I mean, that was my favourite part too.
Okay,
the twins are my favourite characters.
So
Dolores, try and tell me who this is.
Dolores Umbridge is the woman representative from the Ministry of Magic that came into Hogwarts to basically straighten everything up and get it all back to how it should be.
Oh, the bitch.
The one that was pink.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, I agree with you. She needed a cock up her ass.
Am I right? Am I right in thinking that she was a reporter at one point?
She started out as a reporter, I believe so.
Yeah.
I mean, she's one of those people that think rules stop everything.
Yeah.
I have three favourite characters, and it really annoys me because the twins to me count as one.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. The Weasleys count as one.
Just all of them.
Weasleys, yeah.
Because I love Arthur.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Percy does not count as a Weasley.
Percy's a twat.
No,
Percy's a
Yeah,
dickhead.
Percy.
We don't like Percy. Luna,
Yeah.
I love her. She's a precious little angel.
Yep. Who's your
It melted my heart when she called Dobby Sir when I was going back to the Malfoy Manor thing, and he was like, "Oh."
Actually, sorry. Before you step on that, I'm just going to finish up on Dobby because that is the last thing. He went to Malfoy Manor into the dungeon where no one could get in or out. Took everyone out that needed to. Left Harry and Ron in the dungeon. And said, meet me at the top of the stairs in 10 seconds. So obviously you can't use magic in the dungeon. He then stunned Peter Pettigrew when he went in, and they stole his wand and they went back. But all of that ties in to Aberforth, who was mentioned earlier, because he actually went to Malfoy Manor on Aberforth's instruction to rescue Harry. Now I don't quite understand. I think it's the glass, the mirror.
It's the mirror.
It's the mirror, isn't it? I think it's that's how Aberforth knew to send Dobby.
That's how Aberforth knows everything, because he's got this mirror, but
it's the family mirror, isn't
it? In it, and then when he goes and when he ends up finding him later, he realises it's part of a mirror that's in Aberforth's house.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but think back to the Philosopher's Stone of the American Sorcerer's Stone. When Harry goes down with Quirrell into the dungeon, there's the mirror there where Harry sees.
That's the mirror of Erised.
Yeah, the mirror of Erised.
It's not part of that now. It's not.
No, wasn't. What I was going to say wasn't the mirror like effectively a newer representation of it?
Technically, actually, yeah, it is because it shows you what you want, doesn't it? So if
the mirror of Erised is, Erised backwards is desire, and it shows you what your greatest desire was, which is why when Harry sits in front of it, he sees his parents behind him.
Yeah, and then he sees the Philosopher's Stone.
He doesn't realise. Yeah.
But
he doesn't realise.
If Aberforth actually wanted to help everyone as badly as people say he does, then technically it could be that representation. Yeah, you are on a. I suppose that would probably be a fan theory, wouldn't it?
I feel like the mirror is just enchanted to be like you can look both ways through it when part of it is broken. I feel like it's just an enchantment that's there.
All right. Anyway, let's go to a question round. On to Paige. If you're
before, can I just put a few theories out there which I find quite interesting?
Go on then.
Ron is Dumbledore, confirmed.
Yeah, that was the one I was going to start with actually. Ron being Dumbledore, because obviously when Dumbledore's passed, he gives Ron the Illuminator, and obviously runs with Hermione, who's got the Time Turner.
Yeah.
So Ron has full access to be able to travel back and forth.
Not at the time of that. She has to go and steal it back from Umbridge's office.
Yeah, which she does.
That would be a bit fucking wrong, wouldn't it?
So there's one theory. Not even a theory, but this is more of a fact. Neville uses a wrong wand.
It's not his.
He uses his mother's He uses his mother's wand at the start. then he uses his dad's, and then he finally gets his own towards the end.
Yep.
There's another theory as well with Aragog.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like this one, actually.
I love Aragog.
Right. We all know that Hagrid's beloved pet is Aragog.
Travelled in the pocket of a traveller.
Yeah. Travelled in a pocket of a traveller. Who's a traveller we all know of? Newt Scamander.
My God.
That I fully believe in.
There's also the theory in that is, do you know what the big monster in the Black Lake is?
Loch Ness Monster.
No,
the Loch Ness Monster.
It's a giant squid.
It's a symbol of the Kraken, isn't it?
It's a giant squid. And I'm not sure if this is a theory or whether this was actually confirmed in the second Fantastic Beasts film.
No, it was confirmed, yeah.
The theory is that Newt was trying to nurture it and didn't realise its potential, and it grew to,
because obviously Newt and Hagrid were good mates.
Because of how much they cared for him.
What did that mean? Harry Potter.
Obviously,
Mystical Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah,
and Newt Dumbledore, innit?
You're gonna have to help me pronounce that.
That would explain how we got a dragon on the grounds.
What did I miss?
What's everyone's favourite? Sorry about this. What's everyone's favourite mystical creature? Magical creature.
Oh, it's got to be a hippogriff.
Buckbeak.
Yeah.
Hippogriff.
Yeah.
Niffler. Oh no.
Oh my God, Niffler.
Niffler or Bowtruckle.
Bowtruckle, yes.
Bowtruckle's great, actually. Yeah.
They're so cute.
Mine's Hippogriff.
It's Hippogriff or Niffler for me, 100%.
Maybe a Thestral. I think they're quite cool.
They're cool.
All of them.
Phoenix.
Just all of them. Just every magical creature. Apart from the mermaids, because they traumatise me when I watch.
Are we talking just from the Harry Potter universe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, let's do two. Let's do from the Harry Potter universe and then do general mythical creature.
Mythological.
That's the word I was going for. Thank you, Paige.
You're welcome.
Okay, so in general, vampires.
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
And in the Harry Potter universe,
Unicorns.
probably the three-headed dog.
Fluffy.
Yeah.
I'd hardly call it.
I would fucking love to have
What's
that.
his name?
Cal, what's your favourite from the Harry Potter universe?
Maybe because Hagrid named him, and Hagrid is the most wholesome of all people.
True.
I just find the Phoenix just great. Because who would not want a loyal bird who can just die and just think, fuck it?
Just goes, alright, I'm off. See you in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
With the flames, it can heal everything with its tears.
Back problems, give me a minute. Just comes out a chick.
Nah.
If I could fix my back problems like this, I'd be made for life.
Right.
Yeah,
Believe
then you'd be
me.
a child again.
Next theory.
Oh, wait. You didn't ask Paige what her favourite one was.
I did.
Did you? Oh, yeah, Buckbeak.
You didn't.
Hippogriff.
Yeah, but what about you?
Hippogriff.
What are you?
General.
What about just in general?
Oh, mermaids.
Love that.
Mermaids
in
in
Harry
Harry
Potter.
Potter. No, they're not mermaids. They're sirens.
They are sirens.
Yeah, they're
correct.
sirens, so they're
Hi, John.
completely different.
John's gone.
Also, in general, fairies.
Yeah.
In general, I'd probably say unicorns.
love
He would not want to love. He would not love to ride a horse and think, "Fuck it, we're going off."
You know what? For me, I don't actually know.
Imagine how much money you spend on the fucking flight travel, just getting on your unicorn and fucking riding to Ireland.
Pegasus. Unicorns don't have wings. Pegasus.
No,
Yeah, sorry.
unicorns can fly.
Since fucking when?
Unicorns can fly.
Unicorns have always been able to fly.
They run on rainbows.
Shoot it down.
Shoot it down.
They run on rainbows.
Mowing those.
Where? Because not in any film have I seen a unicorn fly. I've seen
Not in any film will you have seen
I've
a real
seen-
unicorn though.
You know how much
No.
it would cost to get a horse fly?
Legend with Tom Cruise.
Pegasus.
That's not a real unicorn though.
No,
Unicorns
but,
don't exist,
but
Luke.
still, no, but like, if
I
we're
get what
talking
Paige is saying.
mythological, then
Unicorns don't fly. Pegasus.
exactly.
Okay, so I'm gonna use my knowledge. I'm gonna use my knowledge on My Little Pony for this. Okay.
I was actually going to do that.
Yeah, because my daughter's a massive fan of that, right? And
Yeah.
from what I'm aware,
Yeah,
from
she
what Abby,
does.
correct me if I'm wrong.
Your daughter.
Yeah, it is.
You're a
You got
bro,
unicorns. You got unicorns. You got alicorns.
Which are
What
both
else is it?
Pegasus and then just ponies.
Yeah, and it's the which ones is it that can fly?
Pegasus.
Pegasus and alicorns.
Pegasus can fly and alicorns can
Bring
fly
it
as
out,
well.
Google.
Because they all have
So-
wings.
Yeah,
Wings.
that's where I was going.
Oh,
Can
you know what my
unicorns
favourite
fly?
mythical creatures are? If we're not going from your conventional koi dragons,
I thought you were for koi carp then. I was
No,
like, babe, koi carps exist.
if we're going for dragons- I'm going to
Abby,
talk about dragons in
wait,
particular. It's got to be a
wait,
koi dragon.
Abby, I just googled this, and from what
Bless
I've just
you.
read, basically, what can make a mythical animal fly is wings or a horn of a unicorn.
Yeah, but the unicorn can't use its own horn.
It
Dickhead.
can because it is attached. It's like saying you can't use your brain
No.
because you can't physically access it.
It don't have a brain, Lucas.
I know.
We're men. We have brains. We just don't use it because we choose not to.
We know.
Guys,
Yeah,
But let's not
I
get into
still
that.
do.
Anyway, back to my point.
Questions?
No, back to my
Trivia.
point here. My favourite mythical creature, if we're not going for the koi dragon, it would have to be a basilisk.
love the basilisk.
That's a good one.
And the last theory I'm going to go with here, going back onto it, Trelawney.
You had to ask me how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
Really happy.
If you think back to the films, she said that Harry was born in midwinter. We all know his birthday's in July. However, when was Tom Riddle born?
Winter.
December 31st.
So she wasn't actually wrong. She was just channeling the Horcrux and not.
She wasn't channeling
Yeah.
Harry. She was channeling his inner demons.
Trivia.
Yeah. Hi guys, welcome to the podcast. Here is part 2 of the Harry Potter topic. So make sure you hit like and subscribe. And yeah, see you in there.
Do it. Hey. Smooth intro page. Love it. Smith and I could do. Right, so
Yeah.
because Matthew has decided to abandon me this week, you've got whatever's in this 5 pages worth of notes about Albus Dumbledore.
And whatever I can pluck out of my head.
And also, he was born in Godric's Hollow, which is where James and Lily ended up living before they were Avada Kedavra. In 1881.
I like that.
In 1881, which when I realised that, I was like, I forgot how old he was, because he was like 150 something when he died, and I was a bit like, I could have swore it was like maybe the early 1900s at best, but apparently not, which I found quite interesting.
Wow.
As we
No,
all
he's that
know,
old.
yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
Oh.
As we know, he is considered to be one of the greatest and most powerful wizards of all time, which is why he was the only person Voldemort was scared of. Oops. Didn't mean to say his name, but there we go.
The one who shall not be named.
He who must not be named. I'm not
Were you
saying that
trying
on
to
podcast.
do a Bane impression then, John?
No, it was just a bit ominous.
Oh, fuck off, I'm drinking.
So, originally, especially in the books, he was known for half-moon-shaped glasses and his long-ass beard and his long-ass robe. Long-ass beard. And
Or how about being a really powerful wizard too?
Great big
I've already said
bushy
that bit.
beard.
He was.
You said he's known for the half moon shaped
No. I said that
glasses
beforehand.
and a long beard.
You can read it backwards, but like most powerful
That's
wizard.
forward, you dickhead.
It's
there you go.
backwards to me. Yeah.
But he had something you didn't. What was that? A great big bushy beard.
Enough with the Hot Fuzz quotes, please. I can't. Not today. As far as I know, they abandoned his glasses when they changed actor, which I found quite sad.
No, he still wore them.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Maybe he did.
Not commonly, mainly when he was reading.
Like most.
Yeah, mainly when he was reading.
Maybe I just didn't pay attention to those bits. But like, when, especially in, obviously the first and second one, because Richard Harris, they changed it completely, and obviously I get it because change of actor kind of can't really keep it the same.
Well, no.
But like,
let's
Well,
get
I
to
mean-
the actual facts. Death.
but
Yeah.
that's my point. That was me saying you can't really keep it the same after the first actor who played him had passed away. Unfortunately, I did like that Dumbledore. Actually, he was like cute in an old man kind of way. Very wholesome.
I prefer Michael Gambon.
I do prefer Michael Gambon, to be fair, but especially with the character development, I don't think Richard Harris would be able to do the darker bits towards the end.
No, I think he was a bit too old. Like to.
He was too sweet old man to be
doing that.
able to change. Oh my god, I see a dog.
That's no way to talk about me, Abby, come on.
Oh my god.
Change of it. He wasn't 150. He was 116 years old when he died, which
Oh,
I found
okay.
amazing.
Bit of a difference.
I know, but like, I'm tired.
Wait,
Okay,
Actor or the character?
the character, not the actor.
I mean, he
Right, I
looks
was going
it.
to say.
He did
I
look
was
it,
gonna say.
but like, no.
He was born in 1881.
1881.
Oh, about the same time my dad was born.
That's a bit
I
rude
think
to your dad.
that's interesting, eh? Because that means that it's set in the past, doesn't it?
Well,
If you think about it. It's 1881, 116 years. So 100 years would be 1981. Add another 16 onto that, it'd be 100. So it'd be 1997.
Which is when the books were written, around that era.
So it's set in like 80s, 90s.
Modern day for them.
Yeah, just like when I guess when it was written, it was probably just like the previous few years.
But the films are based around the 2010s.
Supposedly.
No, factually, because you look at what everyone's wearing, especially when they're in the middle of London.
Yeah, that's true. To be fair,
with the red buses and shit.
Then that don't make sense, then, does it?
There's a lot of stuff that changed.
It does because it's adaptation. It's adaptation to the film.
So there's a lot of things that changed. Like we don't have Peeves, which makes me really angry. But they tried to put him in it, the poltergeist that runs around the castle. But the actor they hired kept making the kids laugh, so that they had to cut all these scenes because they could not work.
Yeah, that would be hard. When I get the giggles, man, it's rough.
The actor has been credited in, obviously, the credits of the first film. After, obviously, because he did so much work trying to portray Peeves. Yeah. I don't remember who it was, but I suppose having someone who's supposed to be really funny as a poltergeist full of a set of like 9, 10, 11-year-olds probably isn't going to end well.
Well, yeah, there's a fun fact for you.
But I'm glad they tried.
In the oh god, what's it called? Deathly Hallows. You know, the Battle of Hogwarts, when everyone's laid down sleeping in the Great Hall.
Yeah.
When Dumbledore's walking around talking to McGonagall.
Oh wait, no.
It's
The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Prisoner of Azkaban, even. Yeah, Snape and Dumbledore. Fun fact.
There's a video of him dancing, it's brilliant.
Yeah, when they were walking around, they couldn't actually say the lines because it kept making everyone laugh. So, Michael Gambon and rest in peace, Rick. Yeah. Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
I was going to say Rick Astley for a second, then I was like,
rest in peace.
Not quite. Not quite.
But when they were walking round, they just basically were taking the piss. They're like, who's farted? Just was walking around.
And they put whoopee cushions in some of the kids' sleeping bags as well to try and make them laugh.
They basically just took it as a practical joke.
There was that, and it was long days on set for kids, so I'd imagine it was probably a bit of a...
Well,
especially though, because I know that they had to do school on set as well.
Oh yeah, they had to do all their schoolwork on set. Which is probably why the twins always get confused. I'm sure they were doing maths.
I mean, the production budget for that must have been fucking huge then, because like for each take, to redo a take it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Well,
so
another thing as well, you know, when they're in the classes and you see them all writing.
Yeah, that's what we said. They're doing.
They're actually doing the work.
The homework, or the work that they've been sent from school because they couldn't be in school. They're
on set work that wasn't their work.
What how shit that would be? You get hired for a film, you think, yay, money and no school, just to get schoolwork while you're on set.
To be fair, I'd rather.
Hey man, you know how much fucking money they made off those movies, though, dude? That's insane, man.
You're really happy because you don't have to do schoolwork just to get sent schoolwork while you're on set.
I wouldn't mind doing my schoolwork in Hogwarts.
Because it would be in the contracts. Yeah. It would be in their contract that they have to do their schoolwork.
Hi.
I'm pretty sure that Cho, who was in Order of the Phoenix for the one film, I'm pretty sure she made $250,000 from that film alone.
Bloody hell.
That's insane.
She was in the Order of the Phoenix and she was in the Goblet of Fire because she went to the Yule with Cedric Diggory.
Yeah. I have a question. Right.
No.
So.
£15.
So you know, obviously, Daniel Radcliffe.
Not personally,
you know,
but yeah.
Right. But like, if you watch him in another film, don't you find it really weird to watch and that you just can't watch it?
When I started watching Harry Potter, we watched The Woman in Black in school.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my god, Harry Potter's gonna get eaten by a ghost.
Yeah.
I remember
To be honest,
Woman in Black at
Honestly,
everyone shitting themselves, and I was
can't
just
watch
sat
them.
there.
to be honest,
There's Victor Frankenstein as well, and I was just like, he looks like what happened if Lily married Snape.
Go on, John.
I think for me, it's it was refreshing to see him in other roles.
Yeah.
To be honest,
So when you
because obviously seeing him from
different things.
it's nice, and it was nice to see him like develop as well as an actor, because obviously from when he's like 9, 10 and he's in the first film and he can't act to save his life, because let's face it, what kids can. And then you see him like naturally develop, and they all develop over time. And to see him in other roles for me was refreshing. I mean, it's a shame that he's stuck to more sort of stage roles than screen.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you could say the same for Emma Watson and Rupert Grint, because he
as Belle in Beauty and the Beast when it came out a couple of
Yeah.
years ago. It's very strange.
I can
For me-
understand why they do it though, because obviously being on such a blockbuster of
At such a young
series
age.
from a young age, you're gonna make a lot of money, so you don't mind taking a cut. And
Exactly,
it's a
I
bit more
think-
immersive, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think as well, if you think about it, they are always going to make money from those films.
Oh god, yeah.
They're always going to make money
Because
from
they're
those films,
they're
in
timeless.
royalties. So they're always going to get paid. So, for them to, because you don't really see them in anything nowadays, do you?
No,
Let's be honest.
really.
I don't think
think-
I've ever seen Rupert Grint in anything other than the
Also,
is it
the
Ed
other
Sheeran.
than that music video.
I was going to say the Ed Sheeran music video. That's the
Lego
only thing I've ever
House.
seen him in.
I think he's just finished filming a drama series that's going to air on, I think, either ITV or BBC.
It's
But
BBC.
is it BBC? Yeah, I can't think of the name of it, but that looks pretty good.
I mean,
But they don't need the money. This is the thing. And if it was me, if I'd done like, it's like the Star Wars films. You know what I mean? Like
You
the guy who
talk
plays.
shit about.
No.
he's trying to
but
say
it's
that
like,
those actors
No,
will
no.
constantly be paid because of how
yeah,
timeless
Yeah.
the
always
series
going
is.
to be paid.
Mark
Because of
Hamill's
all the
on Bucket
royalties.
Next Door, so
I love Mark
What to
Hamill.
do?
He's so sweet.
Mark Hamill's fucking minted.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely minted.
he was
They-
in
they- they-
Arkham trilogy, the Batman games.
Yeah. They
You're
said to
joking?
him, would he? Because they wanted him to be in the what was it?
The new
Oh,
ones.
what was it? No. You know the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's obviously in that scene at the end of the series anyway. He comes in and he does his business. But they wanted him to be in the whole series
It's okay.
from the beginning, but like not as a main character, but just in bits. And he said no, he doesn't need to do it. Because he, like you say, he gets a lot of work from like games and stuff like that, and he's a lot of voice work.
He's done cameos as well. I mean, there was that
Yeah.
big one in The Big Bang Theory where
Yeah,
they find it.
Bomb their children.
Stop it. Where they find his dog and they ring the owner and it turns out it's Mark Hamill.
I say, didn't
Yeah,
Emma Watson
so-
say some of the money she's going to get from the Harry Potter, she's going to donate to charities and that?
She does. She donates them to
Pretty sure she did. She
She
women in
donates
need.
30%.
She does it
Yeah, but
for
the
women
thing
in
about-
need because she's a big
She only does 20% for that.
feminist.
She
like
puts
advocate.
money into kids needing education as well
That too.
in
Okay, before
yes economically developed countries.
Because
To be
those are the two
politically correct.
things she's always been really passionate about: kids having education and women being equal.
It's because she was given such a good
but
opportunity
she's-
at a young age.
She's using her voice now to be able to spread the word because people are like, oh,
yeah.
smart Hermione.
And
As
they're
well
also
as that,
trying
as-
to get her into
She
music.
casts spells, she knows what she's chatting.
Yeah, but as well as that, as well, she's still sort of highly sought after as well. She's
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean, she's still a very, very big name in Hollywood, and it's a shame because I'm pretty sure she's had a lot more movie offers than the other two. But
No.
it's hardly surprising. The thing is, it's hardly surprising though.
So let us know when it's done.
No, I'd say that.
Daniel
Daniel Radcliffe has. I know Rupert's had a lot more than you realise, but he's turned a lot down. Because
Doesn't need it.
as a kid, he really wanted to be an ice cream man growing up.
Did.
He brought an ice cream van, and he didn't get the licence to go around and actually, make money off it. So what he decided to do was go around and give out free ice cream to kids in poorer areas of London. And he's had a hell of a lot of recognition. He's given so much money to charity. And, he's highly sought after. Arguably just as much as Emma Watson. But he just turns more down.
Can we get back to Dumbledore?
What Muggle Juggle
Yeah.
for? Back in Dumbledore.
Yeah.
We're gonna get off then, and I've got so many notes.
This poor girl up here has got like fucking pages of notes on where we were talking about freaking.
It's literally
Oh,
just
man.
a few things, but like
Better fucking acting than
We were talking about Ron, of all people, Ron.
yeah. Anyway,
Best
obviously,
character?
as a wizard at 11, he went to Hogwarts.
The cast spells and shit.
That one. He was obviously put in Gryffindor, but he was a high contender for Ravenclaw as well, which I found quite.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, obviously because he's smart as fuck, but like.
I thought it was for Slytherin because of the fact that the unspoken one is a part of him, so that like
It's not a
heavily
part of
drawn.
He's of
He's
Harry.
fucking- Oh, I thought it was all about Harry. Sorry, I'm.
No, Dumbledore.
Yeah, but the
I wanna
only
get
reason
you
that
there.
Harry went into Gryffindor was
Because he asked. He asked to not be in Slytherin.
Yeah, that's right.
Not Slytherin.
Yeah,
He just
right in
announced
front
it
of
to the whole
everybody.
hall.
Yeah, he's like, not Slytherin, not Slytherin. He's like, why not?
He's like, not Slytherin, eh?
But
Just,
you can talk to Snape.
just announcing it to the whole thing.
The evil bastard inside, you know it.
But,
Anyway, Abby, carry on.
Hufflepuff!
he hid a very prominent friendship he had in his childhood over that of the former greatest dark wizard, Gellert Grindelwald, because they grew up together. But it was announced, it was leaked to Rita Skeeter, the worst person in the entire world, other than not Dumbledore, Umbridge,
Dolores Umbridge.
which makes me angry. But it was released to her by a woman named Bathilda Bagshot, which I didn't realise was Gellert Grindelwald's auntie until I researched this. It was his aunt that had released all of this friendship stuff after he died about Dumbledore to Rita Skeeter when he wrote that big book when everybody changed their opinions on him after he died, which I think was a bit snaky.
Oh, wow.
I guess
Harry
you could
could think.
say a bit snipey.
Luke
Good
just
time,
like
that'd be
shit
better.
me to him before this podcast ends.
Podcast.
Okay.
Podcast.
Podcast.
My mind lagged.
Okay.
My mind lagged. Shut up.
You are
But
European.
he had, as I said, he grew up in Godric's Hollow with his parents and his brother and his sister. Found out that his father was sent to Azkaban for attacking a person,
I'm sure that's mentioned in either the book or the film.
and then his mother was also sent away for some reason, can't really remember, so the
Insanity.
two boys were left to bring up their younger sister. But if you've seen the Fantastic Beasts series, the big, I can't even remember what it's called, the big black smoky thing that's one of the main.
The barbecue.
I'm gonna hurt you.
Well, it's a big black smoky thing.
She
Listen.
she was in the
Enough.
starting stages of one of them, where her magical powers had been not suppressed, but she couldn't openly, use them, and this caused her to be bullied quite a lot and physically abused by some of the young lads in the village, and this left them to have to protect her at all costs. But with the two of them protecting her, it was okay, and then it kind of went out the window once Dumbledore had met Gellert Grindelwald. Aberforth was then... Hold on, let me read, hold on. He started to resent his brother because of how much he was spending time with this...
psychopath.
Yes. And under both of their care, Ariana was there, which is the name of the sister, by the way. I completely forgot to tell that. There was a duel that broke out between Gellert Grindelwald and Aberforth, where they were, casting spells backwards and forwards. It was like the final battle, just on a bit of a smaller scale. And after Grindelwald had cast the Cruciatus Curse, which would have tortured Aberforth into insanity, he obviously deflected it, but it went straight and it hit Ariana, killing her instantly. Which is why the brothers no longer talked, because he continued to be friends with Grindelwald after Ariana's death, and Aberforth kind of went into being a bit of a recluse. John?
No.
Where the fuck was Dumbledore at this time?
You tell me. Couldn't find it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
fucking...
I don't know whether he was there
months
or whether he
with
was...
Grindelwald.
Oi. I don't know whether he was there. I don't know whether he tried to stop it. I don't know whether he was at Hogwarts.
What are you looking at?
Well, there's a bit of a theory anyway that goes on about Dumbledore and Grindelwald being
Romantically involved.
Really?
touching ones.
Okay.
Dumbledore and Grindelwald. This best friendship. It wasn't. It was...
A friends with benefits scenario.
It wasn't. It was...
Or should I say, wizards with benefits?
I think it was after...
Uh-huh.
We discussed this last week. After J.K. Rowling... After J.K. Rowling was accused of being homophobic, she then put out into canon that Dumbledore was gay and had a romantic love affair with Grindelwald. They made a blood pact. There was a reason afterwards that they couldn't fight each other. This is what... There we go. Connecting the dots. This is why he couldn't intervene. They made a blood pact against ever being able to fight each other.
Much like Narcissus, Snape's and Bellatrix's.
It wasn't, it was Narcissa. But,
Oh, was it Narcissa and Snape?
That was an unbreakable vow.
Same kind of
But
deal,
it was a
though.
blood pact where it's in the second Fantastic Beasts film. He keeps it on at all time. Grindelwald does, and it's literally like it's a little vial, and you can see the 2 drops of blood kind of doing a bit of that.
You can't break
a blood pact.
But you can if I'm sure you can if your direct bloodline is in peril.
I suppose so, but
No. The only way you can is if, because obviously you've both got a vial, effectively. If both vials are broken, in essence, there's nothing binding the vow. So only at that point would you be able to go against the vow. I.e., for example, unbreakable vow, if one of them died, you can break it because it's
there's
no
nothing
longer
there for them to...
attached.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
What bonded Grindelwald and Dumbledore together was their search for more power, having all of the Deathly Hallows, maybe. Just trying to be the greatest wizards.
Doesn't seem that type though, does he?
Until after Ariana's death, his need for power disappeared.
It's almost like reality hitting.
Okay. That's fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, so what he did was he put everything into wanting to teach other wizards, witches, sorry. And that's why he went to work at Hogwarts after he graduated. Going straight into Transfiguration.
But he did end up teaching Defense
Against Dark Arts, as everybody does.
After Grindelwald died. Because that was also part of the vow.
Was it? I don't know. So he went and he was asked originally to be the Minister of Magic, but which he probably would have gone for if he still had that need for power. But after he didn't, he wanted to help other people, so he went into teaching.
It was around the time he was supposed to go into the ministry when he found Tom Riddle.
Yeah.
Right.
And basically one of the things he wanted to do first was to go round to try and get votes off people effectively.
Probably.
For him to
That's why, I imagine that's why he's suited and booted then, right?
Always.
Yeah, so when he went to go and see Tom Riddle, the whole thought process of Dumbledore's there, from what I can work out, he's...
Let's find an orphan to take care of.
No, let's find a way to get votes. Let's go see some orphans.
He went to...
Do you know...
Although he was in the Muggle world, so to speak.
I mean, that's why in that flashback, even though... We won't go into it, but, like, it's not long after the Jude Law version of Dumbledore. But obviously they didn't know that then. I was watching it, I was going, this time frame seems really familiar. And it's around the time that Tom Riddle is taken and plucked from the orphanage, where he said that he can talk to animals, he can make things do what he wants. He just said animals at first, but snakes especially. John.
I have a question.
No.
I've just thought about it. I don't know. Well, fuck you. No one asked you. I have a question. And I've only just thought about it, and I'm sure you two probably have thought about this and probably discussed it. So I'm hoping you can give me an answer. This time turner that they've got.
Yes.
Why don't they go back in time and kill him?
That would change the entire, like, it's like the time-space continuum thing, and they can't do so many things because it'll just fuck up everything.
It's one of those scenarios.
Yeah, but even Dumbledore says, if you mess with time, it will mess with you.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, even if they went back and killed him, I'm sure another one would have rose and done the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like the law of the time loop that everybody's pretty much like come to agreement over. Even though, you know, I mean, time travel's a crazy subject, but it's like where there's death, there always will be death. If you take one piece out, another piece will be put in its place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note, John, my head doesn't hurt anymore. We're all good.
No, but another way to answer your question, John, is when Hermione... No. Who is it that's in hospital?
When?
Ron.
Yeah, Ron.
After he gets attacked by a bludgeon.
Yeah, that's right. He gets bludgeoned.
Bludgeon?
One of the balls in Quidditch.
Oh, are you on about, like, the time turner?
Yeah.
Like the Prisoner of Azkaban?
Oh, yeah, of course, it's Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, because he was bitten by Severus Snape, not Severus Snape.
Lupin.
Sirius Black.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So when they used the time turner there, did you not notice that they came back as soon as they left?
Yeah.
Because basically what it is it's not... In essence, you are bending time, but it's more you're going into an alternate universe.
It's really weird, and I don't think time is something we should get into.
No, but to cut a long story short, you're going into another universe. So they disappear into a second one, whereas
the originals come into it as they go.
Yeah.
It's a one-way door, basically.
It's a constant loop. So like those ones that they've, it's really weird. You know, when they go back and they're all hiding from the Ministry of Magic behind the pumpkins when Buckbeak's supposedly going to get chopped.
His head chopped, yeah.
She punches Malfoy in the face, yeah.
Yeah, best punch. And then they come back, and then they're behind themselves, kind of. What it'd be is those ones that are behind the pumpkins, they will carry on and go, and then
hold on, which one's behind the pumpkins? Because there's two.
The original ones. They will go and they will use the time turner to come back. So it's like a constant loop. It's really weird to get into.
Yeah, because at the same time as them being behind the pumpkins and then being behind them, they're also going to be in the woods, aren't they? Behind that, and then they're pretty much going to be everywhere.
No, Harry's going to come and save himself from the Death Eaters.
No,
the Death Eaters.
No, James is going to come and save him.
Yeah. Obviously, James. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, of course.
Because he thought it was his dad.
Because they have the same Patronus. That's why.
Well, no, not just that.
No,
he didn't have his glasses on at the time. There was no glare.
Doesn't need the glare. They need the Patronus because it's the stag that comes out and helps.
No, of course, but the reason why is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recall him wearing his glasses at the time of launching the Patronus.
He was.
He was.
I don't think he'd be allowed to have his glasses off for more than 3 seconds in the Harry Potter franchise because he's not Harry Potter without his glasses.
That's also true.
Oh no, just to go back onto the earlier point of what you were saying, Paige. Seeing him without glasses really does.
It is really strange.
Seeing me without
glasses? No.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean, though. Because obviously
really
we associate Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter. Yes, even though he has progressed up with his acting, you know, and now he's doing more grown-up films, still doesn't deter from the fact that we will sort of look at him and sometimes still call him Harry Potter, it will look weird.
Do you know how many kids have the generation of Emma Watson being Belle and not Hermione?
Exactly. How horrifying is that?
I gotta say that I love and respect the fact that the very next thing Daniel Radcliffe did after finishing up the
Harry Potter
Deathly Hallows Part 2, he did a film on stage, or he did a play on stage where he did like 3 nude scenes.
That sounds about right, to be fair.
And I was like,
child actors, they try and get their maturity.
Yeah, like I'm an adult now. Here's my dick.
I mean, Macaulay Culkin. Have you seen the state of him?
Have you seen the state of that, Johnny? Mad if I be, I ain't wearing it, Johnny.
Problem is, I was thinking the exact same thing.
With a geezer. Is it me or the lifestyle swing?
But
actually,
but I think, if I'm not mistaken, aren't they making another Harry Potter movie?
No, not quite.
No, not really.
It's a play.
It's play. Like it's not being made into an actual film.
It is kind of.
It'll probably just be a recording of the play on stage somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be them, and it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
Let's hope someone cocks the lines up.
The Cursed Child is very confusing. Because
I wish they would do like about their kids.
Yeah, I'd love that as well.
That's what The Cursed Child is.
The Cursed Child is, but
The Cursed Child is
about what happens after
he
gets on the train at the end.
It starts from the end of.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be making a movie out of that.
They might do. It might just be that they probably got concepts, trying to like posters, because I've seen a lot of things.
No, I wanted to do it as a play to see what the reception was.
Yeah, it's supposed to be coming out in like 2023 or some shit like that.
Something like that. Probably. I'd like them to do it as long as it's with, the
original
characters being the original actors, apart from Alan.
Yeah.
The rest of his soul.
He couldn't be in it anyway. He's dead.
It's a good point, actually.
Is he though? That's the thing, because he could have disappeared.
He could.
He got
he
eaten
could
by a
have.
snake.
No, he could have spliced. Yeah, squinched. Whatever it is.
No, he got eaten.
Yeah,
by a snake.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see a whole. I'd like to see a whole other set of films just based on the kids.
The kids and
the way
what
they
they
go
go
through.
through.
And yeah, I think that'd be amazing.
I'd like that because
Yeah, I think it'd be
they'd
great.
have one Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. Because after, we'll see in a minute, the position is jinxed until Dumbledore dies. Not Dumbledore. Voldemort dies.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think it'd be so cool if like they were all teachers. Like Harry was a teacher.
Neville
fucking
went into
Hermione
being a
was a
teacher.
teacher.
Neville's actually a teacher. It's been canon. He's the herbology professor, which I think is really cute.
Do you know what? Yes. I think that is actually really, really good.
You know what I'm really angry about though? He never married Luna.
Because
he
went,
went.
you know what I'm also happy about? He's actually turned into a piece of hot stuff, man.
He has.
Yeah, he's a model now, ain't he?
He is.
Yeah.
Dumbledore went on to teach Transfiguration at first, and this is where he first encountered Tom Riddle after him, coming to Hogwarts officially. And this is when it's not Typhon, by the way, but he come to see the darkness that was inside of him. So he pushed him away to try and make sure he did it. In the Order of the Phoenix, where Dumbledore keeps running away from Harry.
Yeah.
It's like that all over again, but instead of trying to protect Harry, it's Dumbledore trying to protect himself rather than Tom Riddle. And try not to kind of, push him into this dark wizard life that he clearly had in front of him. Don't put everything on there.
I'm putting everything that we haven't done.
Okay. So, after going on to this, after
I'm trying to be typing loud as shit right now.
that's his just loud keyboard.
I can't
help it.
After Tom Riddle graduated at Hogwarts, he applied for the position of Professor of Defense Against the Dark Arts, and because at the time Dumbledore had then gone into being headmaster, he turned him down 3 times.
Oh, this is like the disembodied voice of Abby speaking to us right now.
3 times, and that is...
Oh, I see an eyeball.
And that is...
just turn your phone, you'll see it all, trust me.
That is why they have a different Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher through every year of Harry Potter being there, because it was jinxed by Tom Riddle because he couldn't get the position before he died.
Oh.
And then we all kind of know what happened after that, because then Harry comes to Hogwarts and it's in all the books
Yeah,
and all the
I
films.
was fucking wondered about that, because it's like every other teacher stayed the fucking same.
Yeah, no, the position was jinxed, which I didn't realise until obviously I knew it before this, but I'd read it on, Tumblr and shit like that. I find out a lot of things when I do nothing all day.
Alright.
Fair enough.
So, does anyone have any questions?
No.
I do.
Always something that was always like on my mind. I was like, why the fuck is this one teacher always changing?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's time for us to go, so it's time to spin the wheel.
Spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel.
I'll just share the screen. It's going to be easier. Right.
Hey, don't start spinning it yet.
Can we
What
all
are we
see?
doing next week?
Can everyone see?
Wait. No. Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. John said he couldn't say.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Conspiracies.
That'll be a good one. Who's doing that one? That's you, innit?
It's me.
Very good.
I'm looking forward to next week.
That's me and
I
John.
look forward to that.
Me too.
John's all excited. He's like,
Yeah, because that's me and John, so you're all not going to get a word in edgeways.
Do you want me to just sit out of next week?
I have many.
When my topic comes up.
What have you picked,
Who's your
Paige?
topic?
She's just put something in her mouth.
So yeah, next episode will be on conspiracies. And
Right, so we're good because it's 10 o'clock. We're thanks everyone for watching. If you stayed till the end, God knows how you did it.
especially with her talking.
damn.
You're not supposed to agree, Paige.
That eye is right next to her, man.
But
There's a point where you start digging the hole.
Whop.
thanks all for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Don't
Bye.
forget to like and subscribe.
That too. Bye.
Sayonara.
Later.